Hello, and welcome to this episode of The Turn, where we explore the theme of permanence and how that affects survivors of child sex abuse. So, reconciling the losses of experience that survivors go through is a major hurdle for survivors. And so this week, we wanted to discuss what survivors' experiences are. Not to give answers, not to, give a band-aid for this, but to really just share what experiences people have gone through, the people in our groups, and what they have to share with you about that, what their wisdom is about that. So thank you very much. I hope that you find this helpful and meaningful, whether you're a survivor, somebody who loves one, or somebody who just cares enough to watch this. So thank you very much.
It's a sense of loss of that creative path. Once you start getting back on that path, that is your natural spirit. You feel like, I should have been doing this years ago, and I would be, look where I would be. If that didn't happen to me, then, and I have now aligned with that creative drive and my natural spirit, what could I have done 20 years ago that would have, or 30 years or 50 years? So there's a sense of loss in terms of years.
I think the permanence for me is, can I do it? Can I get through this? I always find that when I get to those darkest places, I really go into my dark. I'll shut down the curtains. I'll just go to sleep. I will sleep until I want to get up. And I think that's the constant permanence that shows up for me. I just time out. I like being alone.
Yeah, I can really appreciate it. I do the exact same thing. I crave for my time alone, and at the same time, it's like I'm contradicting myself.
It affects so many things.
It affects so many things.
Productivity, relationships,
everything. And I as much as I love being alone, I hate being alone. I mean, it's a contradiction, but at the same time,
It feels the safest.
it's the safest because
nice.
it all falls back to this crazy controlling, the trust thing. It all falls back to that. I have a huge issue still with trust.
What I think, and it's just from my perspective, that I don't think those years are lost. I think they feel like they're lost because now that you're back on the path, but how much more depth do you have now back on that path of experience? How much more depth and experience do you have rather than, I think there's a perception for survivors that people who aren't survivors have this rosy life that just goes merrily along and they're successful and all this blah, 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 blah. Well, I think you'll find that people in the creative field, people that are really successful, people that affect you in a very, very deep way, they have that because they've reached an emotional part of their self and a deeper part of their self that they can now bring to their work.
And just self-trust too, like the willing, I think that's another permanence things is like, I'll speak for myself, I gave up trusting myself to trust out. Because when you fail to see the kind of trust possible, you don't want to trust. So I think it comes from here too, permanence and trust.
So if you're a survivor and you're back on your path and you feel like you've lost 20 or 30 years, well, maybe the idea is to bring the depth of those years, to bring the depth of that pain, to bring the depth of that suffering into your work and really help. Who knows how many you could help tens and thousands of people in the future with the depth that's opened up in you. So, and I certainly don't want to diminish that sense of loss or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a depth maybe that's opened up that can serve at a deeper level at that point.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Turn, where we explored the theme of permanence and how that affects survivors' journeys from healing from child sex abuse experiences. Next week, we're going to explore the theme of leadership, and you're going to hear from some extraordinary people what their experiences are, both as leaders and as people who have been with other very powerful leaders and have gone on those journeys with them, and what the dynamics of those relationships are for them. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and I hope to see you on the next episode.